Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to bear arms. All rights of American citizens that have been controversial in the United States. Arguments over whether marriage, guns, and opinions have been the center of discussion in the minds of many Americans. Yet one freedom has been attacked by the public, and even the president himself. The freedom of the press, one of the key components of the Bill of Rights, is being attacked. How can we allow one of the pillars of the First Amendment to be under fire in such a time when the world is in dire need of the news?
Wrote, "The liberty of the press is essential to the security of the state." So essential, in fact, that the Founding Fathers enshrined our commitment to a free and open press in the very First Amendment to the Constitution, that Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. Yet what we have seen time and time again from President Trump is an endless attack against the Fourth Estate, against the press.
The First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances.
While many have labeled news sources as being biased or with a tone of such hatred, said by Donald Trump, the president, there are still many news outlets out there that speak the truth. However, when news is labeled as fake news, the credibility and truthfulness of all news outlets are unfairly called into question.
To start with, Michael Cohn.
Since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Mr.
President-elect. Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
you are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state, Mr. President-elect, can you state categorically, Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question? You're attacking us. Can you give us a question? Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir, can you state categorically?
But Obamacare has been repealed in this bill. We didn't want to bring it up. I told people specifically, be quiet with the fake news media because I don't want them talking too much about
media outlets like CNN and MSNBC are fake news. Fake news.
Yes, it's okay to have an opinion against the news and not trust it, but the press is still a necessity. Without a media publishing the details of the dealings in the government, where is the accountability? The press is a vital part of spreading the truth to the public. As said by the former U.S. Supreme Court Justice, Mr. Black, the press was to serve the governed, not the governors. Without the press, who will not know the corruptions of the Watergate scandal, without the press, who will not know the dealings of the Pentagon Papers.
What position did you hold at the LA Times again?
Most of the time when I worked at the Times, I was a design editor, laying out the pages. But I also worked on the copy desk, so I was editing and writing headlines.
So you know the whole process of writing and going over stories.
Right.
So but as a journalist, what's the importance of freedom of the press?
Well, I mean, it basically is what creates the press in this country. Without the First Amendment and freedom of the press, then access to anything really important would be blocked. And journalists would not have the freedom to go out and really report and investigate in the ways that they do now.
And especially in a time right now where the freedom of the press is kind of being called into question. With the current administration always calling out fake news and talking about biased news, but really it's just the truth. Kind of how important is the freedom of the press in these type of circumstances?
Yeah, I mean it shows you what the last year has shown you is how tentative the strength of the Constitution has with a lot of the population. That they're very easily swayed into believing press is doing bad things, the press is not representing their interests, that somehow the press has an agenda, which, of course, some aspects of the press do have an agenda, but the majority are just there to report what's going on. And the fact that someone in such an important position as the President of the United States is undermining that is a very scary situation. In the long term, it's going to cause a lot of problems, I think.
Just like the four other freedoms of the First Amendment, the freedom of the press is a right given to the American people. We need the press. It gives a voice to the voiceless. It has the power to expose injustices and corruption. And most importantly, it holds those in great power accountable.